I hate it when you lie. I hate it when you make me laugh. Even worse when you make me cry. I hate it when you're not around and the fact that you didn't call. But mostly I hate the way I don't hate you. Not even close. Not even a little bit. Not even at all.
I'm joined tonight by a young man who you could not hate even if you wanted to. Chuck, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing so good. I love like the YouTube video documentary straight cut just to us here on the podcast right from the clip. Like this is straight out of the film school playbook.
Yes, I did take about 2 classes of how to edit things in college, and then I realized I was out of my depths. So
I disagree. Look at your background.
Yeah. Oh, wow. He's already out of there, but I have forgetting Sarah Marshall here. I think that he ended up getting booted for some reason. Was just trying to add a background or something, but we're crushing it tonight.
That's classic podcasting right there.
Man, we're on it today. What are you drinking for Wine and Waivers, the first episode ever?
Wine and Waivers, the debut tonight's cocktail is, I call it the Chuck Bass Ass. It's vodka and Spindrift lemon, and it's fantastic.
Delightful. I am drinking the Phantom Proprietary Red California Blend. Ignore the giant special edition. Oh, good. It's mirrored out. That way YouTube doesn't cancel me. But
is this the part where we get to an ad read for the brand? So because they obviously sent you that, right?
I mean, they did, and then also I have to realize.
Sure, wine and football can be complicated, but enjoying them should be easy. Yeah! So let's enjoy ourselves.
Let's enjoy ourselves tonight. Let's have a good time.
I'm ready.
So if anybody has any questions, if you're listening live, just waiver wire questions, trade questions, whatever. Chuck and I are readily qualified to answer them. But first, let's get into a couple of little segments. This is going to be the top waiver wire.
Would you stop thinking about what everyone wants? Stop thinking about what I want, what he wants, what your parents want. What do you want? What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want? God damn it. What do you want?
What do you want, Chuck? What do you want?
What do I want? See, you know what I love about that is you played the clip in its entirety, right? You get the full range of emotions. You get to experience the actor's commitment to the role. You get to experience their and the character's love and frustration for each other, right? Mm-hmm. You're gonna love this pick. What do I want is Trey Benson. Now, there's 2 schools of thought here, right? Somebody's going, what league are you playing in that Trey Benson and all is on waivers? First of all, kick rocks. There's still plenty of leagues where Trey Benson is on waivers. The other the second school of thought, train of thought, whatever you want, is what has this guy done? I know you were big on him early on this season. I was actually had him on almost all of my teams. I thought that it wasn't necessarily a James Conner hedge as much as it was. I thought this offense had room for multiple productive backs. And while it has been the James Conner show, there have been multiple displays of not just running efficiency, but production. And Trey Benson, I thought he looked fantastic in that matchup against the Jets. Now, the Jets are kind of a cakewalk rushing defense. 10 rushes for 62 yards, 5.3 yards after contact. That's first among all running backs all of this weekend. Just pretty hot stuff. And I thought he's looked really good in the limited role that he's had so far, which is an indicator of, a potential RB1 should something happen to James Conner. I don't think Amari DeMarcado has shown that he's that guy, that he's going to, be able to ring his way up the ladder. This is really just a guy that I believe in. And I think the opportunity is going to come.
Yeah, no, I love him. If you guys want to check out more about my thoughts on Trey Benson, head over to the Fantasy Football Astronauts. I did a little write-up on him there. And then if you want to watch my full film study, that's over on the Fantasy Football RPG channel, which you're probably on right now, or you're on Twitter laughing at us indubitably. But no, dude, I always want Trey Benson. We have a great question here. He needs 3. So this is, man, we're already getting into start sits for week 11.
Hell yeah.
Bateman, Irving, Monty, Addison at his flex. He needs 3 of them. Listen, you're resident Tampa Bay guy. Bucky has to be into the lineup.
Yeah, Bucky has become kind of the focal point of the Bucs' entire offense, not just the rushing attack. He's done well against amazing run defenses. He's torched terrible run defenses. I think that he's going to be pretty much an auto flex going forward. I wouldn't say an auto RB1 or 2. An auto flex feels like a pretty safe space to be in. Monty is always going to be there for me. Here's where it gets tricky. Addison and Bateman is kind of are each other, right? They have different quarterbacks giving them different levels of what the hell's going on with this play right now. Sam Darnold has been called the white Lamar Jackson in many circles that I hang out in. I'm probably still going Addison. I hate to say that. It doesn't feel fantastic, but you can't. It's the same player.
Yep. I was going to go Addison as well. I just think so. Ravens are playing the Steelers. It's November football. It's AFC North football.
Yeah.
Tootsie Pop. The line is right here. It's blacked out so that YouTube doesn't cancel me. We're all excited to talk a little bit about rom-coms and love around here, but I agree. Addison over Bateman. That's just the passing volume isn't going to be there in Baltimore, whereas we know it's going to be there in Minnesota. My notebook. What do you want? Top waiver wire out of the week. Audric Estime. Don't know where the hell this came from. Javonte Williams has had 12 or more opportunities in almost every game this year. He's had 15 or more in the last 3. And then he only had 3 on Sunday in a very close game against the Kansas City Chiefs. Look, Estime looks good. Love him a lot. I think he was a good prospect coming out. He just didn't get drafted very highly because he is a little slow in shorts, which, God, that really stinks. I mean, he's really good at football, but he can't run fast in a straight line in his underwear. So
it's a toughie.
Any thoughts on Estime the rest of the year?
Estime is a guy that I've been struggling to figure out why he hasn't gotten more involvement in this offense for weeks now. And that's not really to say that Williams has, looked undeserving of the workload that he's just getting. I just kind of thought that every time I've seen Estime on the field, he's given me a level of excitement. He definitely runs with a little bit more power than anybody else they have. I mean, you can do things with him that you can't do with some of the other backs. And for a good reason, for a long time now, the breakout back on the Sean Payton offense has been like the white whale we've all been chasing. It's like the high that we all love, and it makes for a good soundbite. And the search engine optimization loves it. So I've been hoping for him. I mean, the viewers should know that Mike beat me to this one at the last second for his pick for this category. So I pivoted to Trey Benson because I love Audric Estime. It's a great ad.
Yeah. What's funny is that if you had put Estime, I would have put Benson, and then I put Estime, so you put Benson. So either way,
that's how we do things. That's why we're best friends.
God, I love you so much.
You're the best.
What's your favorite rom-com?
Oh, this one was an easy one for me. You've Got Mail. Tom Hanks.
Oh, okay.
Meg Ryan, Dave Chappelle. I mean, this is just a classic. It's really like, for me, when You've Got Mail is on, not only am I going to watch it, but I feel like that's when America peaked. That time period, New York was, there weren't still there were no scenes where like a homeless guy was pissing on a guy who was masturbating. Like it was just like peak New York. People could walk the streets safely at night and go get books at the bookstore the next day. I just love every bit of it.
People want to romanticize New York. Tim Dillon recently on his podcast was like, stop putting homeless people in movies. I think we should put more homeless people on our podcast. If you are homeless and you're listening to this, please.
Yes.
DM me.
Come on. We are a high tide raises all boats, and we want to be your tide. We want to be the wind beneath your wings.
Exactly. My favorite one is About Time. There's just something about a time traveling love affair with Rachel.
This is the fantasy guy, and you can't help yourself. You cannot help yourself but to pick a time traveling movie.
It's so good. My second favorite's The Vow, and I realized when I was making clips for this, it's just a lot of Rachel McAdams for very good reasons.
Yeah, you're getting. See, I'm noticing a trend here. Okay, well, let me ask you this while we're just on the subject. What would your wife say? What would the answer to that question be?
She knows, and she would say it's about time.
Okay, nice.
Oh, but her favorite rom-com. Man, that's a tough one. I want to think The Proposal. Ryan Reynolds, little Sandra Bullock. Alaska.
Staple. Yeah. So here's one more question. Then I will not. Is The Parent Trap a rom-com?
I think
scholars debate.
As a divorced family child, I think it just brings up too many raw emotions to be a rom-com.
No.
It's more just rom sad.
It's
But
like a psychological thriller. Yeah, I got it.
I think if you're watching it as a single family, nuclear family like the 1950s intended, it could be hilarious. I can't move past that trauma. What about you?
So you see, you're noticing that like I like You Got Mail, Parent Trap. I'm talking about like I'm hearkening and longing for the olden days of the American society. Give me that suppressed sexual energy. I love it.
Okay. Well, speaking of sexual energy,
Okay.
I thought this phone was old and shit, but suddenly it's my most valuable possession.
You really like me?
Oh yeah.
yeah, man, I really like that.
I'm gonna
But-
go on a clip binging spree as second the show is over. It's gonna be the rest of my night.
Perfect. But as the cell phone in About Time, what is your most prized possession? It's someone that you thought was shit, but now
This
you
is
want.
a guy that this one's great because he is shit and I still want him. And that's DeMarcus Robinson.
Oh, man.
Still on a lot of wires, still bringing that dimension to the offense that I thought he would. Look, this isn't a guy that you're going to be throwing in a lot of lineups. It's not really the confidence booster that you're looking for, but he's established a connection with Stafford that I think you're not seeing a lot of other receivers do with their quarterback this year. And we've got enough evidence now to know that. You know, we talk a lot about like, dart throws, prayers. Like the Alex Pierce is a perfect one. Like, I have nobody else, right? Let's throw Alex Pierce in the lineup and hope he catches a long ball from a deceased Joe Flacco. That like player and that mold and that fit that we always have in mind is what's going on with DeMarcus Robinson and Matthew Stafford right now. And then if you're mixing in elements of the offense, like, what's going to be going on with Puka and Kupp once we get to the fantasy football playoffs, I just feel better about this guy as the very rare wide receiver hedge, right? That wide receiver handcuff that you just do not see, right? It's a position that's not really capable of that. He's proven that he can be that guy. So I'm grabbing him wherever I can.
Yeah. I love that call out. I think there was a clip going around on Twitter. It's the zig route that he's run at the goal line. Like Stafford was looking for him, even though they had both wide receivers healthy. So, things get bad. You can throw him in as a flex and it'll be fine.
Bingo. And that's what you're looking for with the waiver.
Yeah. My most prized possession, it's either Keaton Mitchell or if it's something that I thought was shit, it's Justice Hill. Listen, Derrick Henry, approximately 9,000 years old. We talked about it on your show on Player Profile.
We did. We had a lengthy convo about this bad boy.
Dude, he just has so many carries, and like Big Dog can keep doing it for as long as he can, but maybe he's going to get banged up, miss a couple of weeks. All of a sudden, Keaton Mitchell or Justice Hill get plugged into your lineups.
Yep.
It's somebody that I want for the playoffs just in case.
I hate it when you lie. I hate it when you make me laugh. Even worse when you make me cry. I hate it when you're not around and the fact that you didn't call. But mostly I hate the way I don't hate you. Not even close. Not even a little bit. Not even at all.
I had to cut you off. I wanted to see that clip again.
Dude, I can't get enough of that, man. It's a Heath Ledger callback. You know what really always rubbed me the wrong way about that movie, and it's nobody's fault. I guess it's more of a writing thing, is I do feel like she fell for him that hard too quickly for her character development, right? She was kind of this like standoffish, callous. Now you could make an argument that because she's never experienced the joy of love or even like a nice hand jibber every now and then, that maybe she is more susceptible to falling head over heels quickly. So I guess I could see that argument, but it just didn't track for me that she's pouring her heart out for this guy over what was like a half of a semester of her senior year of high school. I don't know.
I can get it a little bit. So you put these walls up all the time. You're building them up, trying to prevent anybody from paying attention to you. And all of a sudden, somebody's putting in the work. They're trying to break down those walls. It's easy for you put on that hard exterior, but once the walls break a little bit, they all come crumbling down. So that made sense to me personally.
Okay, that's fair enough. I do, to get to the point that you just absolutely cut my balls off with. I think one of the best things that can happen for a guy that you're excited about on the waiver is that his first week back is a dud. And it wasn't a dud because of a performance issue. It was a dud because of, they just didn't really use him. And it's going to go in one ear and out the other for a lot of people. I think his only live shot that I saw was like a 3rd and 1 handoff that I think got called back for a flag. And then they didn't have him in on the next play, or they punted. So basically unused. So he's going to slip through a lot of people's radar. But you weren't playing for right now. You're not even playing for, like you said, this is a guy for later in the year. You're playing for down the road. The best thing you can see is him just not being even remotely an option for a lot of people that you're competing against.
Yeah. We want to stash guys that are going to be valuable and you can plug and play them later. Like, you're not going to have time to wait a week and see. If Derrick Henry goes out, you're going to plug in Ravens running backs and you're going to twist your fingers and hope for the best. But play the 10 things I hate about you. Who's a player that you should hate? You have 10 things that you hate about him and you should drop them, but you just can't.
I just can't. And you know what? It's basically all my lineups everywhere, right? It's like every single player sans like Chuba Hubbard, which is such a perfect little transition into this. It's Jonathan Brooks. Look, I didn't hold on to, I know, I didn't draft Jonathan Brooks with the hubris that I'm going to be able to unleash this guy in my league week 6, 8, 10, what looks like 12 now. I'm just that delusional and I'm just that cocky to think that when this guy is ready to go, when he's had 5 consecutive days of full practices and he's handled the workload, I can't drop him because it's a white flag I'm not personally capable of admitting to yet. So the problem with this one is that if I am proven right and he does end up being an asset, it comes at the cost of a guy who's done so good for me all year and all my other leagues falling off a little bit. So it's like a catch-22 scenario. But come on, Mike. Is he going to do nothing all year? Is he going to do nothing?
If he does nothing all year, like, hilarious. We rewind.
It's great content. It's great content.
They're like, hey, he's going to be ready for training camp. Don't even worry. He might even be active week 1. And we're all like, hell yeah, draft him. Top 50 pick. Offense wants to establish the hell out of the ball. Bad quarterback. Check downs galore. And then he's not ready. And we're like, that's fine. That was baked into the price. Don't even worry about it. Give him another month. And then he's not ready a month later. We're like, that's fine. A little bit of setbacks. It's good. It's good. They're being cautious. That means he's going to be 100% when he hits the field. He's hitting the field. And now, brother, it's like mid-November, and he might play this week.
Dude, the gaslighting is unbelievable. The fact that still, I mean, just kicking the can. It's so funny because you hit all the beats of like exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, oh, this is an adult coaching staff who isn't rushing a player back from injury. Like the Breece Hall came back from the yada yada, like all the classic cliche textbook excuses you could ask for. I was spitting them out, and I will continue to do for the rest of the year.
I will continue to do it for the rest of his career because Chuba Hubbard signed a $1 billion contract.
Dude, $50 million running back room for the 3-7 Carolina Panthers. Let's go,
man. If there's not a good way to build your roster, it's that. But somebody that I hate, but I just can't drop. It's Deontay Johnson. I made all the excuses for him the first week he got traded. I'm like, it's been 2 days. He doesn't even know Lamar Jackson's middle name yet. Like, give him some time.
Can you tilt the hat you're wearing down a little bit more?
Yeah, that's 2005 Pittsburgh Steelers champions. This was my dad's hat. And then I also have a signed Deontay Johnson helmet behind me, covered by Kristen Bell, also known as Elsa. I can't give up on it. And then another week, he immediately drops a pass or like falls while he's running a route, and Lamar Jackson gets mad at him. And then he says, there's 2 sides to every story. Like, you've been pushed out of 2 organizations already. You're in one that can make a title run, and you have beef with your quarterback 8 days into the relationship. I love it.
I love it too, honestly. We don't, because like with Diggs out for the season, Brandon Ayuk out for the season, we don't really have this like wide receiver who's leading the league in drama. Like Michael Thomas is still trying to be that guy, even though he's not on the team. He's still trying to pipe in on Twitter and blow shit up. We don't really have that. The enemy speaks softly and carries a knife guy.
Oh, he's here.
He's here, and he has been here. You know, it's perfect rom com. Like he's been here all along. We've been looking for him elsewhere. No, he is here. And I'm with you. I mean, I still think that there's an opportunity for somebody on this offense to, I don't know, a chain mover. They don't have chain movers. They have a bunch of guys who know to run around for about 10 seconds while Lamar scrambles his ass off. And look, they're winning games and they're putting up points in ways that we haven't seen done in a long time. But I mean, I don't know how sustainable that is when it comes to those weeks 11 through 17, when you're still 3 games back behind the Chiefs, you're fighting the Bills for a playoff spot. I mean, they traded for him for a reason. And I think they know that, and I'll be interested to see how they fold him into the mix.
Yeah, every time that I see him tweet, throw his head down on the field, I just remember the Stephon Diggs tweet. I'm never the bigger person. I'm not letting shit go. Like, that is him in a nutshell. Also, we have Malik Washington with a touchdown.
Dude, this is the best screenshot of a podcast I've ever seen. We have both of us on here, the background, Stephon Diggs, and then we have the comment. I hope that you cap this because this is some amazing, amazing work.
Somebody screenshot this and tag us. This is peak content. I know what I'm doing. Please tag my college video.
You got TikTok jealous on this, mofo.
God, this is good. But while you guys are here, like, subscribe, go over, follow Chuck. His @ is right there because he rules. He's Brat. I think that means good. Is Brat good?
Brat's having a tough time right now because it was pretty sweet about 2 weeks ago, but right now it's pretty damn low.
Brat summer is over. It is now cuffing fall and winter. But I got to ask you a question, and we got one more clip, and we're going to call it a night and go watch some football ourselves. What is the best week of NFL football?
You know, this one really depends on your emotional stability, right? For the most emotionally unstable person, it's week 1. For the most emotionally stable person, it's or for the most emotionally, the actual emotional. You can tell that I'm the Chuck Bass ass is getting to me right now. It's getting to me really good right now. I would say that week 7 felt like the best. It felt like that's when teams started to be handcuffed with how much they didn't want to show for the rest of the season, and they really had to start letting things fly. Thought the Thursday night football game started picking up. I think the passing offense started picking up, and people started to adjust to the defensive formations that were just crushing the beginning of the year. They were just shutting shit down, and we've seen kind of the offense counterpunch, right? You know, Voldemort attacked, and now we're seeing Harry Potter, you know, who took down, who was the original person that disarmed Draco Malfoy. It was Harry Potter. We're starting to see that, you know, fly into full effect. Because also that's kind of when, you know, week 7 fantasy wise is when you kind of know, right? You're like, am I going to be scrapping and fighting for the rest of the year, or am I going to be fighting for the 1 or 2 seed? You almost always know by week 7. So it's a really it's a hinge week. And I think a lot of things play into that. Not as many guys as injured. That's my answer. What about you?
Yeah. I was going to say somewhere in the similar range, like 5, 6. I think week 2 to 4, it's too early to victory lap. It's too early to know if you were right. It's too early to know your player takes, your team takes, see how things are shaking out. Like, it's early.
Sure.
Derek Carr Saints were Super Bowl contenders week 3. Now look at us. So I really like that early part of the season where your youthful joy is still alive, but your takes are right.
Dude, that's such a great call. People were comparing the first 2 weeks of the Saints to like the 99 Rams greatest show on turf.
Yes.
And now to full circle that, we've got some MVS questions in the chat that I'm seeing.
Yeah, you want to hit that?
I want to say,
yeah.
My advice to you guys would be definitely don't do that. Like, do not do that at all. However, if you have somebody who's injured, or you have somebody who you're like, this guy's like, there's no path to this guy being relevant, he's a fun guy to have on your team, even if he's just on your bench. So don't give up capital for him. Don't sacrifice anybody that has a path to points, path to volume. But he is a morale guy. Look, if you have MVS on your roster, it's a high T move. It's a Frank Thomas, Nugenics, she'll like it too play. I like that.
He is the original Gabe Davis.
He's the prototype.
You would just pick him up, you'd keep him on your bench, and you're like, I got to see it first. And then he goes for 3 touchdowns, 120 yards. It's great. He's plugging into your lineup. He has 4 targets, drops 3 of them, misses 1 of them. You love it. So if you need a roller coaster to ride on, MVS, get on it.
Get on it, baby.
All right. Yeah, no, we both love the early to mid-season. Keep the energy high. How are you doing energy-wise? You feeling good?
You guys are keeping me alive. Goose is in the chat. Mike, you're my hero. I don't know where I would be without the community, or at least, you know, the I don't know. I'm trying to do like a portmanteau of meme and community. The community. I don't know what the workshop. Community. Yeah, we'll have to workshop that in the lab. That's what gets me going every morning. That's what gets me going, getting through these days, because, you know, a big thing going around today was, I don't know if you saw it, like somebody who I'm really fond of, the Degenerate. He's a Twitter user, and he had a big post about how bad the games have been. And Mina Kimes picked it up and said, you know, parity is good for the NFL, even if the product is bad. And Scott Van Pelt, her coworker, went to bat for him and said, no, the games have been pretty bad.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think the overall product has been down this year. I think, and it's for a lot of reasons out of players' controls. There has been a lot of good quarterback play. Some of the wide receivers have been very highlight worthy, but I mean, it's been so boom busty. And you feel that as like a hyper user and a hyper consumer. You know, you're consuming so much of this product, you can kind of tell where the dips in quality are. And I felt a lot of that. But man, the memes have been strong, and that's because of you guys.
Yeah. I love the people that are still having fun with it, like understand that this is an outlet to relieve stress, have a good time. Like, a lot of us are not making this our full-time job. Obviously, like, you have penthouses and strip clubs that you use, funded by your fantasy football podcast, but a lot of us just are out here for kicks. And where do you think the like decline in quality is coming from, or do you even have takes on that?
I think it's the worst marriage this year of coordinators and quarterbacks. And it's the best marriage of defensive players, veteran defensive players, and veteran defensive play callers. I think it's been a bad pairing, and I think it's taken the offensive side too long to adjust. I think you're seeing a lot of veteran quarterbacks with bad offensive lines, and not even veteran quarterbacks, really good, high-quality quarterbacks with bad offensive line. You're seeing what's happened to C.J. Stroud. Like, that's happening to a lot of guys. And then you have the flip side of that, which is good quarterbacks in new situations that are inconsistent. So the Jets offense has been a shit show. Kirk Cousins, they've been a lot of fun, but they've been inconsistent. You're just seeing a lot of that around the league. And I think just, you know, you can't really blame too many injuries unless you're pointing directly to injuries on the offensive line, which has infected a lot of teams. But otherwise, it's just been it's been the rich and the poor. There's been very little, you know, the Cardinals are the perfect, like, the best of the worst of the good teams. And there's only one of them this year. Usually there's maybe 4 or 5. So not a lot of fun.
No, that's completely fair. I think the has-beens is very interesting to me. I think on the other side, we're seeing the shift, just to like get on a soapbox for a little bit, because we got a little bit of time.
Please, soap it up, baby. Commercial. Can we get a wine drink before?
Yeah. Actually, I just finished my glass. Let me pour another one while we do this.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to drink the entirety of the time that you're pouring that glass.
Lovely. So there's this idea in game theory that over time, everybody will reach the most optimal strategy. And then it just comes down to a thing of blind luck. Like, we're seeing the very good teams move to this very optimal strategy. So rather than Patrick Mahomes throwing deep balls to Xavier Worthy, which is awesome and sexy, and we're all fired up. Cheers.
Bingo.
We're seeing him dink and duck, play good defense, and control the ball, which is the way to win. But it's not fun for TV. So if we really want to make things fun again, let's get Will Levis out there more often. Let's get Jameis Winston, take the LASIK away. Let's get, like, I even want to see, let's put Stetson Bennett out there. I just want to see a little scrappy guy have a good time. Let's get some.
You crossed the line. You crossed the line with that one.
We don't need to see the bad quarterbacks that we know are bad. We want to see the bad quarterbacks that are fun while they're bad.
Yes. There's been too much. Like, Anthony Richardson should be playing. Will Levis.
I mean, you got to develop your 39-year-old quarterback. I get it.
Yeah, please. I would love to know if Flacco v. Rodgers is going to be the oldest combined quarterback age in NFL history. I would love to know if that's going to be the case this weekend coming up. But you make a fantastic point. It's something I've been stewing about, but people on the internet just don't care about it. You know, Mahomes is setting the template right now that Brady set, right? Which is like, and I said this earlier in the offseason, like, he's not going to be a top fantasy quarterback. He's just going to take what's given to him and make a little Mahomes magic every now and they're going to crush people. They're not crushing people, but they're undefeated. Josh Allen's playing like that too. Like, the best quarterbacks in the league are playing like that right now. It's kind of like they're throttling down until they need to throttle up instead of just having their foot down on the pedal all the time, which is what we want them to do, because I want excitement over wins, and they're mature enough as competitors to know that they don't necessarily need that. Even Joe Burrow a little bit, who's having a great season, but I mean, you've noticed these kind of changes in their game, and of course they're all close to the same age, so they're just hitting that wall at the same time.
Yeah, we need them to all to get a little bit of eugenics and just
Please,
boost
get
the
the
T around
Ts.
the league.
Dude, the T's are too low. We need them. We need them up there.
We got one more clip. I'm going to read a quote from the movie, which is why people are here, is to hear me quote Rom Com.
That is why they're here.
And then we'll call it a day. But
Hi.
Hi.
man, so just before that, she has
So
lost her entire
good.
memory. And Channing Tatum, while trying to figure out what's going on, he said, sometimes the universe is sending some particles crashing together, making them closer than before, while sending others spinning off into great ventures, landing them where you've never thought you found them. How do you interpret that for fantasy football?
Well, one of them is probably taking Christian McCaffrey as a deep bench stash as the first overall pick, a particle that you could basically I had written off 4 weeks ago as somebody that was never going to be in my life again, and now he's the fulcrum of my entire lineup. And then the flip side of that is losing somebody that you love deeply in Rashid Shaheed, and watching MVS put up his exact stat line the week that he comes in. You never know what these guys are going to mean in your life. They're going to be here 1 minute, they're going to be gone the next, and you don't know how they're going to impact you while they're here. You just hope that they're as handsome as Channing Tatum and Rachel McAdams, and then you move on.
And as handsome as you. There's
beautiful.
Of all the particles in this world, I'm really glad that I was shot you over to me. So thank you for that. But I'm also really happy that Jameis Winston was shot to be the quarterback of the Browns, because now all of the Browns receivers are just particles crashing together, and some of them are coming closer to me and some are flying away. Elijah Moore, who we all wrote off for dead, target king these days. Jerry Jeudy looks almost relevant. Cedric Tillman, who we had all written off for dead, has been the wide receiver one in the last 3 weeks that he played.
Incredible.
If there's nothing that can explain Jameis Winston ball and how particles crash together, it's exactly that. But
that's beautiful.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. I hope you had a blast. You want to tell the people where to find you, what you're working on, and give them some love?
Absolutely. My name is Chuck Bass, for those who are still trying to figure things out or maybe had a little bit more wine than Mike and I. I'm the host of This Guy Sucks, and I'm also the host of another fantasy show Sunday mornings at 11. And what do I have? What am I working on right now? I'm working on my thesis about how fantasy football leads to a better life for white males ages 18 to 35. Don't have any evidence for anybody else, but that's kind of my focus right now. So that'll be released through DeVry University 2 months from now, pending approval. So be on the lookout for that. Otherwise, just find me on Twitter, and we're having a good time.
Yeah. Can't wait to read your doctoral thesis. It's been really interesting to watch you grow on this academic journey side by side with you. If you guys are listening, you probably know where to find me, but you can find me on Twitter at FFMikeCash. Please like, subscribe, send it to your mom because she wants to see more of these clips. Good night, everybody.
Hi.